Hey, what's going on, guys? Shane here with Vince The Anomaly and our buddy Evan. So Evan is a fightTIPS underdog. We met him out in Dallas when Vince had his fight, and we've been keeping in contact with him, and he came out to LA to train at the fightTIPS gym. He's also got tryouts at Black House MMA in a couple of days, so we're going to do a little experiment. We're going to have someone who's had no amateur fighting experience against a pro fighter who's had 7 fights. And we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to be coaching Evan and just kind of guiding him as he goes against Vince. But Vince is going to be working at Evan's level, but he's going to be giving him different looks. So he's going to be playing the wrestler, he's going to be playing the striker, he's going to take him down and try to submit him so that when Evan does start to compete, he's got experience fighting these different styles. So we're gonna set the round for what? What are you thinking?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Listen to this guy. Yeah, maybe we'll do 5, and then I'll regret saying that. And we'll see what happens, so take a look. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Mouthpiece is in. Good to go. 5 minutes on the clock. Cool. Keep it light. Keep it light.
Watch out, man.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
And go for it. Pressure on the head. You gotta work at him. Try to clear that leg if you can. Keep fighting your hands through the leg. Nice. Good. A little heavy on your rear foot. Kicks are coming. That left hand's way too low. You're gonna pull it, you gotta bring it right back to your head. Close your mouth. Coming up to our final minute. Up, up, up. Good. Get that left hand up.
Great work, brother.
How was that? Appreciate it, man.
Awesome work. Way to go. How you doing?
I'm great. That was awesome.
You did good, man.
Yeah, you did great.
Yeah.
God, you're a good wrestler.
No. First impressions, what do you feel?
Tired?
Yeah.
You're a lot stronger in the clinch than I thought you would be.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Like, I didn't think you'd, once we tied up and over under, I didn't think that you'd reach for my legs like you did. And you did. You get hooks in on just on one leg. You had way more power than I thought you would.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
A lot of that is leverage, right? So let me put this down. When we're going through these things, if I have you, let's say we got this over-unders, right? I think I remember what you're talking about. I spun you around here. My hips are lower than yours. I've got pressure against you in the cage. Ideally, I want my head here. I don't remember if it was during the round, but I collected this leg.
That right there.
All right, so immediately, see how your hips shifted?
Yeah.
That starts pulling you off balance. If I have control here, all I gotta do is just sink my hips and drop, and you're gonna go
Drag me
down.
with you?
Yeah, it's less about leverage, and you know this when you're grappling, when you're doing wrestling. It's less about strength, less about power. It's more about leverage. I'm taking you to a base that you don't have, and that's the reason you're gonna fall down.
And then in the clinch, it didn't seem like you were shooting for takedowns at all, as much as you were getting trips like that.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But then when you backpacked me and you read me up like that, I wasn't sure if I needed to clear the hooks first, clear the hands. I tried to fight the hands while clearing hooks. I was trying to focus on getting my shoulders to the mat and then flattening out my back to get you to face me.
That's exactly what you need to do, and that's kind of why I abandoned it as well, because I had this type of position. I think I was over under. I may have been just too like this, but I had this leg here, right? So a couple different options, like what Cron Gracie did in his UFC debut. You can pull down this way. My good friend Dom, my training partner, he does this all the time. So I was trying to pull you that way a little bit. I wasn't really feeling it, so I kind of switched back to right here, right?
That's what
and I even was like more on top of you, carry my weight, like this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm forcing you to work. But what you're doing is right. You're scraping me off the wall. Yeah. Using that to turn, so I have to open up. So that's the right line of thinking there. You want to kind of get rid of that leg, but not at the expense of covering your neck. Because if I have this over-under and I'm there, as soon as you start fiddling with the leg, hand comes up. Or maybe I just drop and collect here. But either way, just know, as soon as I let go, you're off. That's the big thing, is people get really content to stick onto the cage, to wrestle here, to control. As soon as I release a grip on your leg, maybe I have two hands on the, like this.
The double?
As soon as I'm here on the double, on the single, if you shuck me over and I break this grip, you gotta get off the wall immediately. Exactly. So that goes for the same thing if I'm on your back here. As soon as I start to release that grip, boom, off the cage.
Okay, yeah, see, I was trying to tie up with you. Because I had, at that point I had double unders.
Yep.
I tried to get, like come up across your shoulder here. You wouldn't almost have a tie. I came here and started trying to throw knees. And before my first one got even halfway there, I got spun around. But I was expecting to feel you almost try and get like a sweep. And wrap your foot around mine. I didn't feel anything aside from the fact that I was off balance. But I didn't feel like I had no balance on my leg when I threw that knee, it was like you pulled me right here.
Yeah. Did I go this way or this way?
Yeah, you went that way, and it just spun me.
Yeah.
But like, didn't make me take a step as much as it made me go here.
Yeah, I mean, Shane can probably speak on this more so than I can too, but it's all Muay Thai. You're spinning around in the clinch there. As soon as I lift this foot up and I'm on one foot, automatically I'm going to lose balance, even if I have the best balance in the world, right? If you're clinched up, you bring this knee up and I start twisting you hard, you're going to be turning and moving. So that's kind of like what I like to bait and look for, is if we're clinched up like this, I know the guy likes to throw his knees. As soon as he goes, then I can turn and maybe put him against the cage or turn and try to clear. So that's like one thing I'm looking for when I'm in there. So when you're sparring with people, you're working clinch and stuff, know that, okay, maybe I can throw a few knees, maybe he can too. But as soon as I know and I feel that knee coming, I'm spinning or I'm catching that knee, taking him down.
Yeah. Okay, so when I'm like, how can I spin you around if you're not reaching up for knees? Like when I had my back against here and you had all your pressure on me, I didn't have many options here. I was trying to kind of cup your foot here and come around. Yeah. But you were leaning into me so well, like this, and just pushing so much, I couldn't reach him, and even if I could, your hips were too squared off. Yeah, in general, if someone, let me get Shane so you can see it. If Shane's pressuring hard into me here, unless I'm way bigger, way stronger than this guy, there's no way I'm just going to be able to force him back that way. Okay, so I got to start clearing these hands and breaking these grips, right, on my legs, and putting off to the side, whether it be this side or that side. Even if I can't control that, let's say your hands are up higher, I'm going to be getting my hips low so I can get my head in, and I want to be going side to side. Because the more I just try to push him forward, I just don't have the leverage to do that because the wall's behind me. So work on going side to side there, fighting the hands, fighting the grips, getting your base wide, hips low. So I think, let me know if you don't agree, I think my two biggest mistakes were, one, playing your game, wrestling with you against the clinch when I could have just gotten out of it, should at least try to. And then two, I was real slow on the ground. Like, you switched from a rear naked choke to a triangle to an armbar, and I figured that you were gonna go for the armbar. Figured it'd take you a second more to lock up, and it cost me, and you switched back to a triangle. But that would have finished there. So hesitation and then being open to playing your game. Yeah. Because I felt myself searching to be inside more. When I think I have a longer reach than you, probably could have stayed on the outside, and I was slipping punches and pulling them, but I never came back with a full counter unless it was to the body. So instead I started trying to dip in, get down low. And that's when you set yourself up for shots. And even as you did that right there, make sure when you're getting low like that, the other hand's blocking and covering. Because there's a few times I was looking for knees, I only threw it maybe once or so, but be careful, especially in MMA, when you start trying to dig this body and get your head low like this, where my head is over, you're gonna eat that knee. So if you're gonna go low, try to be here and go low. Granted, I know sometimes you gotta swing through, you gotta roll under, but really try to keep that base between your legs the best you can. The more you do this type of thing, the more this person's either gonna snap you down or he's gonna throw a big knee and catch you. Okay.
How did you feel with your striking?
I felt like I wasn't striking like I normally would. There was a couple times where I felt like toss the volume up a little bit, and that's what I feel like doing, and that's what I feel comfortable doing. And they were like pressuring you against the cage, and you shot in, and I sprawled, and then you switched to a single and spun me around. But I at least had time to react to that sprawl. That's really the only time I felt comfortable. I landed a few teeps, but here and there. Other than that, I definitely felt like I was letting myself play your game by picking shots on the outside. And I think it was kind of a way for me to try and figure out what your game plan was. I was staying on the outside, like keeping you busy a little bit, but mainly just looking around, trying to watch you. Versus your game plan wouldn't have mattered so much if I just kept my eyes open and I pressured you like I normally would have.
No, that's a great point. That's actually something I was going to bring up is when you feel the rhythm switching, especially because I was doing like more of this Muay Thai style, then more of a wrestling or more of a low-end boxing style. When those are switching or when the person's doing a lot of unexpected stuff, do you switch back to some of your bread and butter and keep them at bay? Whether it's you have these long limbs, right? Throw that teep out there. Let me do my thing, moving around. Or find that jab. Find that one thing, find your timing, your space, and get control of some of that rhythm so that you can turn it into your favor. I know it's difficult, I'm somebody you haven't sparred before and I'm throwing all these different styles, but when you see that happening, you gotta find something, stick to that to control that rhythm or get it back to you.
I think the same reason that's beneficial is the same reason that kind of scared me. If I wanted to put pressure you against the cage, I was like, if you're against the cage, I have more room to sprawl, which gives me an advantage. I'm not gonna try and take you down, but by trying to get you against the cage, I had to cut certain angles that were opening me up for knees, and not knowing which style you're gonna go with. I was really like one thing I was trying to do is step on the outside here, step back on the outside, and then kind of post out with that push jab that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
Perfectly valid to use those.
doing so, I was worried about knees, or then also worrying about being snapped down, things like that. So because once I get a read on you, you'd switch it up so much, and it was like it was beneficial, but it was also like it cut out half of my style's validity, which is why I struggled.
Well, the one thing I noticed was you weren't effectively using your jab as much as you could have been. One thing you kind of do is you reach to the opposite side, so you reach to his jab hand and you kept doing this. And Vince a couple times pulled kick, but they came right over top. The right hand was opening all day. Whereas you should be probably going to the opposite hand. You should be going left to his right and doing more of this to keep him at range. Because if you go here, everything's open on this side, right? A lot of people get in this habit because when they hold pads, they go like this. I'll hold for a jab, you throw a jab, and I go here, and then they parry here. I like teaching the opposite. So when you throw a jab, I block with this hand.
Okay.
Hit me in the face. I go here, right? Because if I go here and then you follow it up with the right hand, I don't get this hand back in time.
Yeah.
So I'm blocking this one with this one and this one here. The other thing is too, I noticed you're throwing shots, you kind of had them predetermined in your head, and as a beginner, that's going to happen. Like it's just like, this is the one I'm going to go with, and I hope it lands. But you were throwing teeps at this range. At one point you were here, you were trying to like lift up and throw a teep, whereas it would have been much better to throw a knee. It would have been much better to post out and then throw the teep from this distance. But you are longer than him, you're a lot longer. So to use your jab would have kept him at bay, throwing the teep. But also, if he's pressuring you forward, you can't throw kicks when you're backing up. Like that's just kind of a rule of thumb to follow. When you're going against someone who's going to probably try to get the takedown, if you're going on one leg, it's the same concept with the sweep or the pulling and the clinch. You're on one leg, it's just one less base that you have to hold yourself up. So use your hands, create the angle, but wait until you're both standing still or standing your ground, or you pressure him to back up, and then you can start throwing your kicks.
Okay, so you utilize my jab more to keep you at bay, and then it's judging distance is one thing, but also judging what's available from that distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see what's available when, again, you get that momentum back, you get that rhythm back.
Right,
when you're controlling that pace of the fight, like, okay, now Vince isn't able to shoot in, he's not throwing what he was before because I'm just popping with that jab, popping the jab, or just nailing that teep from the outside. Then you can start to pick me apart and see, okay, where are his openings now? Right? Maybe now it's my time to throw this move or that move. But it's really about, for me, is rhythm changes. It's a big part of fighting.
I mean, Vince didn't make it easy for you though. He was putting the pressure on you.
No, I loved it.
You're in a small space. So.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I think the biggest reason that it came struggling is I stopped doing. Normally, you get read on your opponent, start finding timing and things. But though you were switching styles, your jab was the same for the most part. Your cross was the same for the most part. Your hooks, when you threw a lot of those things, were similar. Like, your teep was going to come. It wasn't going to be substituted for a takedown. But your jab may have been followed by a takedown. So there were little things, and I kind of ignored getting a timing on your jab, knowing when to come over top, or knowing like what I was trying to do is to visit your lead hand. So when you throw that right hand, I was able to get a pull
counter. Yeah.
But then I stopped focusing on getting timing on your right hand.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt got me caught more. Because I just focused on your number one priority instead of the tools you're going to use throughout every style. So I kind of like sacrificed what the number one or most important thing is in the fight, and that's understanding your opponent.
Yeah, but I mean, based on what you're saying is actually really high level, because a lot of people.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, a lot of people are just going to go like, okay, I don't know when to throw, but I know I can do a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? And then they throw it. You're thinking about what you're trying to do, what you're trying to pull out of me, so that you can counter that. And I think that's very high level. So I commend you for that.
Yeah.
It's just you need to build up with time on the mats and stuff, so that you get that flow down, so you can still be doing that, but still be nailing all of the basics, all the tactical stuff correctly. So leading up to that, then you can start picking people apart by pulling certain punches, certain things out of them. Yeah. So that I really like that. Like that. That's awesome. That's high level stuff. Now one quick thing on the ground too. I know I'm a lot more high level on the ground, so I was moving around. I was giving you a little room to play. But what you want to do from the bottom is almost never turn away and give up that back, right? So if
that
we're on mount.
That's what I was trying to do. So because I felt more comfortable defending my back than my from mount.
But if you start going here, especially in MMA, if we start doing this thing where I'm turning, I'm trying to push to get up, now you throw that other hook in, and then open and spread your legs out wide, hook underneath my arms, underneath my armpits with your arms, And now you flatten me out, keep this under, So I got you here a few times, right? This is done. The fight's over in MMA. If you get to this point, you're going to be blasting me in the head or working that rear naked choke. So in general, especially on the ground, even if they're throwing a bunch of strikes and you want to get away, if I'm turning this way, I want to be creating space so I can hip out, get this knee in, try to get back. I don't want to be giving up my back like this because once we get here in MMA, it's over. Yeah, that's just one pointer on the ground. Aside from just getting more mat time, you know, putting more time on the mats, knowing where your hips should be, legs and stuff. But you know, you're young, you just started training stuff, so everything was great.
I definitely felt like I was trying to spend more time getting you somewhere I was comfortable. Not comfortable defending from mount at all, especially because you were pressuring me so much that it was hard to get my hips up without sacrificing an arm. So I was like, I'm comfortable defending my back. I've had to do that a lot more.
Yeah.
So switching to that, I also knew that I'd be strong enough to stand up and get you to backpack, and it wouldn't take as much energy out of me if I was able to do it right, get my back against the mat.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get you into where I was more comfortable, but it ended up screwing me over some of the time.
Oh yeah, and that's okay. Just the main thing is remember some of those principles like that right there. Giving your back on the ground, especially when you have no mat space there, it's really like your last resort. Unless you're about to get finished here, you need to turn over to protect yourself. You can do that, but in MMA, it's a tough thing to do. But yeah, I mean, everything you're saying is great. You're working. You're thinking about pulling me into your strength areas, and that's what you should be doing when you're sparring and trying to build up.
Cool. All right, guys, there you have it. Wish Evan all the best. What, you're 17 years old, and how much training have you had up to this point right now?
I mean, I did it on and off did boxing on and off, just an hour-long classes for like 2 years, about 4 years ago. Did a little bit of the same with Muay Thai, but I took about a 2-year-long break for gymnastics. So consistently, a year and a half.
Nice.
And that was in a couple of gyms, but mainly finding friends who were national champions in high school wrestling or judokas or jiu-jitsu players or taekwondo artists, and trying to build off kind of what you did here at fightTIPS, finding someone who's in MMA, finding someone who's a wrestler, finding someone who's a boxer, who's a jiu-jitsu player, Muay Thai, taekwondo. And so I kind of built that, and we all got to learn off each other. So most of my training it's a little unorthodox, but it got me here. So
good stuff, man.
It's great.
Cool.
Keep it up, though.
All right, guys. Wish Evan all the best for tryouts. Down below in the comments, if you have any questions, drop them for Vince, for myself. But until then, be sure to subscribe and check out these guys. I'll have the links in the description for their Instagram pages. Until then, subscribe to get the fight tips before your opponent does. I'm Shane.
Vince The Anomaly.
Evan Carr.
Fight tips for the underdogs.